What? What? Can't be Monday. It is. It's Monday. Have you looked out the window? I just want to go straight back under the duvet. It is Monday, right? And it's September. And the big thing that I'm trying not to do is put the lining in my coat. I swear to God, put the lining in my coat. I'm not going to do it. And big news. $10 this morning, flu jab. Oh yeah, flu jab. Now you may have noticed that a certain fairly small of stature, fairly irritating person isn't here. I have got 2-week break. 2 weeks without Phil Dave. I said, where are you going? He says, I'm traveling around the country. I said, oh, you're going with a pal? You're going with a friend? No. I'm doing what I like to do. I'm traveling on my own. On his own. In his little mini convertible with his hair blowing in the breeze. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's Men's Radio. Yeah, it's Monday. Now, I wanted to kick off. By the way, Veronica Curran, hello, your first comment of the week. It's sunny in Edinburgh, which is great for you, but sod all use for me because, quite frankly, Veronica, I'm in London. It's not helping me at all. There we go. I think Phil might be coming up to Edinburgh. Let's go from Edinburgh. We go slightly, I don't know, my geography is so crap, to Fife in Scotland. I don't know where that is. I've not a clue. Morning, everyone. Hope Phil has a good break. Sue, I couldn't care. I don't care. Not my circus, not my monkey. Isn't that the great phrase? Isn't that the greatest phrase? Barry J. Allen. I can't do any jingles because Phil's got all the fancy schmancy equipment. And I've got to... You can be quiet, Susley. It's sunny in Fife. What's this? Just Scotland beating me up because we've got rubbish weather down here. I was going to go out this afternoon. I've had to cancel everything. Barry J. Allen. Oh... he'll save every one of us. Blue in Hell, Monday already. Hello, hi, Barry. Linda Dave. Are you missing him? Linda, are you missing him? If you had any, I don't want to be rude. You got 2 weeks. Rent his room out. Rent his room out, for God's sake. You make a fortune. Do an Airbnb. Rent his little room out. Don't forget to throw in all his whiskey collection. Paul Claridge. So what you're saying is, Russ, that Phil's mum and dad, that's Linda and Ray, have kicked him out for a fortnight. They need a break. You're right. That's what they've done. Let's dash from Edinburgh and Fife and let's cross the Mediterranean to Spain, where we find Michael Verbi. He's not Spanish. He's from North London. Buenos dias, Michael, I presume you're never coming home. That's all I can assume. Oh, God, geography lesson coming up from Veronica Khan. Russ, Fife is over the Forth Road Bridge from Edinburgh. Good to know. Linda Dave, she's not missing him at all, which means she's desperate for him to come back. Are you all right, darling? Did you pack clean pants? Have you got a handkerchief with you? Is everything all... I know what she's like. And then, Linda, you are a woman after my own heart. The room's already let out. Result. It's fantastic. I got not one, but two guests. Now, every Saturday, I have a secret cigar trio. There is me, film producer, the man who did Gangs of New York and Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool and loads of others. His new Sandra Bullock. He's not the guest. I'm just bigging him up because it amuses me. So that's Colin Vaines, or Colin Cornetto. And this next man joins us every Saturday morning, just privately, to have a little cigar and a coffee. And basically, is Dave on the Isolation Revolution protest then, says Paul Andrews. Anybody less likely to go on a protest march would be Phil Dave, unless it was, they're trying to, I'm very, very upset, Russell, they're trying to ban cravats. I'm going on a protest march. Cravats and hats are the thing. Let's welcome First guest of the week. We've got a packed week, by the way. Luke Newman. Oh, hang on. Good afternoon. Currently walking the 3 dogs to clear the head. Nothing better. You're right. I've got 1 dog. And I have to take her out for a drag half the time. Just want to go. Let's welcome. He is the man, the myth. It is, of course, Ray Gelato, ladies and gentlemen.
Afternoon. How are you? How is everybody?
Right, how are you?
You know what? I'm actually quite good this morning. It's from where
God.
I'm sitting. It's sunny.
What's gone wrong?
Yeah, exactly. What's gone wrong? I'd complain, but who'd listen?
Yeah. Well, we're here to listen because we've got a new little section. We've decided. Well, I decided, and I haven't quite broken it to Ray yet, but I like to do things on the hoof. I want to have a little section every now and then, just called Ray's Rants. Ray's Rants. But what we want, Ray, is a little bit of Ray's Rants, Ray's Rants.
You want a jingle, in other words, yeah?
No, we don't. We just need you going Ray's Rants and
right.
playing a bit of sax. I mean, that's
Ray's Rants.
Well, there you go. That's it. That's the whole thing.
In the case, but I'll do it next time. Okay?
How are you? You're okay? Everything good? Everything okay?
Yeah. Everything's all right. Everything's all right.
When we met on, you're getting back to gigging, which is going to be a little bit of the theme of the show, because what we're trying to do, mental health has been, well, we've taken such a smacking the last 19 months. It's been absolutely horrible. And one of the things, of course, is that we haven't been able to get out, see any shows, putting aside meeting our pals, but we haven't been able to do any live entertainment. It's been absolutely crushed. Finally, and I'm so pleased you're back on the road a little bit, starting out.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we did a couple of gigs at the Peter Express Jazz Club in Dean Street. That's been there for years and years. That was fantastic. It's a lovely intimate room. I was in Southampton last week. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Italy. As I think I went on the show afterwards, cutting through the red tape of the tests. I'm going to Spain in November, and they've dropped most of these dreadful restrictive tests. And for artists, this was a nightmare. You know, I think we have to do 1 day 2 on the way back. 1 day 2 when we get back, and that's it. The antigen.
1 day. What? Explain that. I have avoided traveling anywhere because I can't understand any of that. I'll be honest with you, I just can't face the faff.
Well, they changed the rules on Friday, Russ, and they've dropped the test going out. So this is Spain. They've dropped the test you have to do when you're out there the day before, which for a traveling musician is the biggest pain in the whole world, because you know your whole thing is you should be resting, preparing for the show. We've had a travel day the day before, and you've got to get up the crack of dawn and go to some pharmacy in a town and queue up and get a test, and it takes hours, and it's ridiculous. So they've dropped that one, and you just need to book now. As far as I know, I think I'm right, one called a day 2 on the way back. You've got to pre-book that antigen test. It used to be PCR. It's an antigen, which is supposedly
antigen.
Ridiculous. I don't know what it means. I'm just hoping they'll allow us to use a home one, because I'm inclined to just use the same bloody code that I booked last time.
You crazy devil.
I know,
at this.
I've said it publicly,
bloody
but I'm fed up with
it's horrible, grey, overcast here. Look at this. This is from Scotland. Thanks for educating Russ, Veronica, Curran, listening to the programme from the beach. From the beach.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it does sounds far too blooming nice. Now, you wanted to have a rant.
Yeah, I did.
Well, the floor is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, I present jazz legend Ray Gelato and the Giants, and here's my rant. Yeah, my rant. I
love Mario Lanza. Listen,
that's the one.
You know, this is a rant that it's, I'm not the only one that's doing it, that everyone's been doing it. But let me just start by saying, today, after I see you, I'm taking my 88-year-old mother to Charing Cross Hospital to get an eye. She has to have an injection in her eye. So it'll be okay, but she needs me to. She needs me there now. If I was stuck on the M25 or a junction,
can I stop you? Can I stop? She's got to have an injection. In her eye.
Yeah, she's basically, it's just age, and she's a sight is going in one eye, and they're hoping to save it with this. I can't remember the name of it. What she's got, but it's something in the left.
We were talking about it. We were talking about it on Friday. I think the gang know what it is. I can't remember what it was.
They will know what it is. It's an age.
Macular. It's something macular. That's forgive me.
Exactly what it is.
I don't.
Yeah. So I've got to go to the hospital with mum quite a lot now, just for little things. She's fine, but for minor things, and she had a, yes, that's what it is. And I'm the only one who can do it. You know, my dad's 86 and he can't do it anymore. So I'll do it with pleasure. If I was stuck on the M25 or somewhere, held up by these climate protesters,
Yeah.
I'd be literally going out of my mind, and I don't think I'd be responsible for my actions. What I would do. My whole point about this is, I say I'm not the only one having a rant about it, and I'm not going to say anything new, I doubt. But it's not the fact of the protests. We're a free country. We're allowed to have protests here, of course. It seems to be the lockdown and this pandemic has brought out a whole slew of these things and these, nutcases. I'm not saying every protest is, but this one, you're going to sit on a motorway or a junction of a motorway. That is completely and utterly an insane thing to do. You should be moved immediately. It's not only the disruption, it's the timing. People are struggling to get back to work after this pandemic, literally. And this is my whole point. And people have suffered absolutely terrible mental health. I've had to put my business, my official business, under, or I'm in the process of doing that, because there won't be enough work for a couple of years to pay the debts I've had to incur in this thing. I'm one of millions who have suffered like this. And if I was stuck on the M25, I wouldn't be responsible for my actions, especially the way the police have gone softly on these people.
Let's just dig this down a little bit. And it's not just a question, by the way, of here we go. This is sweet. This is from Paul Claridge. It says, "Hey Ray, I'm sending lots of good wishes to your mum and keeping fingers crossed all goes well for her." I think everyone Paul. Around the world is thinking that. Everyone watching this show.
I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot.
Bless you. Here's the thing. You're not saying. And I've got another entertainer waiting in the wings as well. So we're going to talk about that in a sec. You're not saying, you're not a climate change denier.
No, I'm not. But I also say, if I'm going to get ahead of you, the government, and I'm not a fan of the government. I'm really not. I'm not a fan of any politician at the moment. So I'm sitting on the fence here, but I'm really not. But they are doing so much. Why have you had all the roads closed over the pandemic? They've brought in all these LTNs, all these cycle lanes, boom, 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 all these roadworks to stop, which I'm convinced to stop people driving. So they are implementing green policies. And how much, I just don't know how much more these people actually want. And to me, it's spoiled and selfish and totally evil in a way, to just literally mess around with the public. Go to Sadiq Khan's place, go to City Hall and block him in. He's the guy that seems to be in charge of a lot of this kind of stuff, or the politicians. But when you start messing with the people, my whole point is they've lost their cause completely. They've lost their cause. They've repelled it. The police have lost respect.
Look at this. Now, you were saying that the police are going softly. And again, in case you think I've gone completely off-piste, I think this is to do with mental health and well-being. One, the whole climate change is about health, effectively, and saving the planet. Put that, if you can, to one side. Huge subject, I know, but bear with. Somebody like Ray, trying to make a living, going to a hospital appointment with his mum in her 80s, perhaps trying to catch a flight to make a living, right?
A gig.
And these people, and look at this, the police, this is from Veronica Curran up in Edinburgh. Ray, they were warning the drivers for moving the protesters. It's madness. How is that not supposed to make you lose your rag? That's my point.
Yeah, well, it's mine.
That's
it's
what
mine
I'm getting
too.
down to.
And when I saw the policewoman last week, because I don't know if I'm supposed to say policewoman or the police officer, whatever it is.
The female police officer.
The female police officer walked up to them and said, "Is there anything you need? Would you like something? If you need something to be comfortable." That made me mad, because the police should be impartial. And it seems to me that if the protest is on the right political spectrum, i.e. the kind of political thing of the day which everybody's talking about, i.e. the sort of left thing, they're not gonna do it. They seem to go softly. And I could imagine if it was anybody else, even if it were, they maybe go in a lot heavier, whether it was anti-vaxxers. I'm a pro-vaxxer, and I'm not a COVID denier, but I think they would go in a lot heavier if it was nearly anything else that doesn't subscribe to the political narrative.
I just don't understand. I personally don't understand it. I think it is just quite extraordinary, because the thing is, if you parked on a park on a double yellow line, right? Park on a double yellow line. What would happen? Do you get moved on?
Yeah, you'd get
You
moved
get
on.
you
It's the
get moved
same as
on, right?
it's the same, Russ, as the Extinction Rebellion protesters. If you and I went to Soho and had our cigar with Colin, and then we went to Bar Italia and started with a hammer and chisel smashing the windows in full view of everybody,
Yes, thank you.
we'd be hauled off
Thank
in a
you.
minute. So I believe, and I've got no evidence of this, but I'm just believe it, and whatever, that there's a directive somehow coming from the top to go softly on these people. And if you sit on a motorway, there's going to be a fatal accident eventually if these people aren't stopped. There is going to be a mother, somebody's mother died. I was listening to LBC this morning. Somebody's mother died in the car, passed away next to them, and was very sick on this. I don't know if you heard that this morning.
No,
So there's all these kind of stories. What's going on? Somebody was late for a dialysis. Somebody like my mother has been waiting for months and months and months to get an NHS appointment, which I'm sure people on the M25 have been doing.
This is a big comment, Ray. This is a big comment. So it's going to hide us, which always upsets Phil. For me, it's a mercy. And Ramsey says this: the police should ensure that all protests are legal and safe. Sitting on a road blocking traffic is neither legal or safe, and there should be zero tolerance. I don't see concern about the planet being a party political issue, and I don't see how these protesters are advancing their cause by pissing off people trying to live their lives. That is the key, because what you've already said, Ray, I'm going to bring in our next guest in a moment, because she's aging before my eyes. It's hopeless. Is the I saw that. I think she's ordering 2 coffees, Ray. I'm not sure. Is this? It's you have sympathy. You and I, we put our little rubbish in like good little citizens in one bag, and we put the recycle in another little bag, and we go out like good little citizens, right? Sitting in the middle of the M25 is just going to hack us off and have the exact opposite effect.
Well, that's what it's having.
But
that's what it's having.
Right. They're losing and look at this from Spain. And you asked me if I'm coming back. No, I wouldn't go. No, I wouldn't bother.
I know. If we can't rely on the police to protect us and be on the side of the working people, then I don't know what we've become. I think the whole left thing. I was a Labour voter all my life. I grew up at a council estate.
You communist?
No, I was, but because I believe that this sort of thing was for the working man. They are not anymore for the working person. They are literally, it seems to be this whole sort of thing. The climate protests, I put them into this. It's some kind of elite. This seems to be part of the elite now. And we're just the serfs who are inconvenienced by this.
We're the mugs. We're the mugs who are in the way.
We're the
in the mugs. I can't.
Look how communist systems. Look how communist systems are dealing with climate change. China. Why don't they go to China and protest?
Because they wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare. They absolutely wouldn't dare.
Really
so this is
mad.
from Edinburgh, from Veronica Curran. These protesters need to target and disrupt political issues. There were many serious issues created. Ray, my 88-year-old mum has both eyes affected. Scans and appointments are precious. Strong women.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They are precious, and if people can't get to, and I say, I'm going to go back again to mental health. We've all been suffering in this pandemic. Everybody, some people have been lucky to maybe have a decent furlough scheme and to work from home, and some people are lucky. Maybe these protesters are semi-retired or retired. They look like they're retired to me, most of them, because they look. To be honest with you, Russ, they look like twice you and I's age, right? So. The whole point is, to me, it's totally and utterly selfish. Go and block in Sadiq Khan and get him to do something. I don't make decisions about the climate. I'm doing what I can. Go block him.
But this is the thing. The thing is, Ray, for your mental health, how can this help? What are you supposed to do? Suddenly you're sitting on the M25 for 2 hours because some Herbert's blocked you. That doesn't make you think, do you know what? I'm going to do something. What are you actually supposed to do? You're going to buy a horse? Joking aside, what are you physically supposed to do, Ray? You and I. What are you supposed to do?
I don't think they're thinking of that. I think they're thinking if they create enough disruption. I heard them this morning on LBC, one of them. They said, well, the government have to listen to us. We're going to force the government to listen to us. Force them.
What?
And then I think Nick Ferrari says, well, what have you done? And one of them says, well, what have you done before? You've only seen this insulate people's, whatever it is, insulate the home. These are these protesters, this offshoot of Extinction Rebellion. And they said they'd written a letter to the government. He said, "You've written a letter, and your next step was protesting on the M25."
Yeah, they wrote a
They've
letter.
got no
They wrote
answer.
a letter, and now they're blocked. It's disgraceful. Now, speaking of disgraceful, time to bring in our next guest. It's already a grey, kind of miserable day. Might as well make it worse.
You're so cheeky.
There we go. There we go.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm hanging on every word. It's like I have nothing to offer. You've said everything I feel right now about this.
Oh, well,
good morning,
bye then.
Russ.
I was going to hope you were going to come on and oppose it.
Well, Hillary, I don't think so. No,
No, I just feel the same. To think of sitting in the car with my mum, who's 91, and taking her to an important examination or something would destroy me. Like you say, you don't know what you're capable of. And with Russ bringing up the mental state that we're all in, we've all suffered, etc. Road rage and then some, because this, things break down, there are accidents, and you go, oh, and it's despair. But this needn't happen. And they're just so unjustified. It's unacceptable. And, they are pushing the backing of us further away. If they're going to protest, you want the troops on board, don't you? And even though the cause is great, as in what they're fighting for, the government, etc., I can't deny that I am for what they're trying to achieve. Not like this.
But what about?
I come back. Sorry, go on, Ray. Go on, Ray.
I just want to say something quickly that there is more to be done, and I'm not a climate change denier, and my children are very much behind things like that because they're learning that at school and that sort of thing, and I'm trying to educate myself on it. But the government have done a load of stuff, all the ULEZ things, all the restrictions, all the electric cars, all the cycle lanes. Maybe they haven't done enough, but these people are so spoiled, so selfish, and so damn self-righteous that they want everything done now, and it cannot be done now. Otherwise, you're going to reduce society, as Russ said, to a horse and cart overnight. And all businesses will collapse further, and nobody will be able to get back to work. So this is what I just think the selfishness of these people astounds me.
Ray and I go into town. When I say town, I mean London, and this is replicated throughout the United Kingdom and the world. But let's just deal with the UK for the moment, even though I know I have loads of people watching in Spain and France and New York and Santa Monica. It's this: we see the shops empty. I don't mean empty of people. I mean the shops are just boarded up. It's horrible. It's like great swathes of like Shaftesbury Avenue and even Regent Street is like a ghost town. It's depressing to look at. It's upsetting, but you think to yourself, okay, they're trying to make businesses work. We're trying to get the economy kick-started with a defibrillator, if you like. The harder you make it for people to get around, the less. And what gets me is people say, "Ooh, Amazon." Ooh, yeah, right. Because of course you're going to go Amazon. You can't park. You perhaps don't want to go on a train because you're worried about COVID. A few clicks, it turns up at your door.
Yeah.
Bravo. Sorry. Yeah. Bravo. If you can't offer a service, life will move on. I personally think the high street's finished. I've thought this for many, many years. I think it's a shame. No, but Hillary, I do. I think niche shops. When was the last time either of you? This is cute because people used to do for relaxation, to help their whole mental attitude, and let's have a nice day. Let's go shopping. And people say, let's go up west or wherever you may live. If you live in Edinburgh, you go to the Mile or somewhere like that. Let's go up and have a nice day in town shop. When was the last time you ever said to a pal, let's go do that?
Well, my local town here, the number of shops that have shut and big franchises have shut as well, and empty windows and stuff. So there's no joy in strolling down the high street. I go in for needs must, boots, the bank and home, literally.
Would you use the word the bank? You got a bank? You got a bank? Look at this. This is interesting. I'm sorry, it's a big caption, so bear with everybody. This is from Alexander Lichtenfeld. And Alex, congratulations. Women's radio station just won another great award. Alex is one of the wonderful broadcasters on WRS and MRS. So well done, all the team and everybody on Women's radio station. Our sister station started a year before MRS. So proud of you guys. I really am. means so much to us. Thank you. And thank you for being, we'll talk about the award later. This brings it home. Extinction Rebellion protester breaks down in tears as she hears man was unable to reach his dying father's bedside before he passed away when they blocked the motorway. It's disgusting. Surely
God.
they must have realized the result of their actions. No, because I think they're selfish.
Crocodile tears. It's too little, too late. And I tell you what, if that happened to me, then I would not be responsible for my actions. I think I'd have to. I can't say this online. I'd be so mad at these people.
This
honestly.
is it. Now look at this one. This is from Ramsey. When I drive in LA, not Luton Airport, by the way, that's Los Angeles, in the carpool lane, they have carpool lanes over there. We don't have them over here. It's a good idea. And see all the big gas guzzling pickup trucks and the massive SUVs, which are about the size of your local town, Guildford, Hillary, with a wheel on each corner, driving in the other 6 or 7 lanes, all driven by a single occupant, makes me laugh that the hotel suggests I can save the planet by not having a fresh towel each day. I mean, this is the logic of the asylum. This is the problem, and it passes as clever thinking. It's a joke.
What do you mean? Like a joke. Sorry, go on.
No, it's just the you know that everyone has to make a small gesture, and it's the baby steps that build up to bigger steps. So where we can achieve and conquer, it has to start somewhere. So I do understand. I kind of understand the logic behind it. Every little bit that we can do will help the bigger picture. But the towel versus the juggernaut, you just give up. And just go, well, stupid. What's the point?
Let's belt up back to Edinburgh. Says Veronica, I definitely want things to change. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They attack the well-being of people who support action happening, but not by creating all these manic disruption people are going through. My point is, it's not having a go just at this. It's that we are all in quite a fragile mental state.
Yeah.
Everybody I know. Ray came up with the best phrase about 2 months ago, and I've used it. I have credited him, but this is what Ray said at one point. We were sitting down having a coffee, and he said, I think the world is having a collective mental breakdown. And I've never heard it put so succinctly. I think Ray was 100% spot on with that.
It seems that way.
Well, Hillary, you're looking kind of doubtful, but I think people have been.
No, it's not doubtful at all. It's just me going, yeah, I feel that.
Now you're both in entertainment. You think I'm going to be rude, but I'm not. And Hillary, you've been there. You're on TV back in with copycats and everything like that. When Hitler was massing on the Polish border, it kept people.
You see, you just can't.
I had to. I never make personal comments. It's not in my nature. I'm never rude, especially to guests. But no. You are showbiz through.
Let me see. It's a picture of me that he posted on social media just now before the radio went live. Yeah. This is okay. My hair was big in the 80s. Fair enough. He can't resist it. But he is one of my best friends, so I let him.
You're very lucky I didn't put the video up of you dancing in Lycra, because quite frankly, I watch that just to cheer myself up on a regular basis. I might just send it to Ray, cheer him up. I love it.
Don't put the video of me dancing in Lycra.
No, we won't do that. We don't want to scare people. So one of the things that makes life enjoyable is entertainment.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to see Ray Gelato and the Giants, whether it's going to see you, whether it's going to see your act, whatever it might be, going to Crazy Cox, I don't know, going to what was the Hideaway in Streatham, which is now gone, which is a huge shame. Going to Ronnie Scott's, going to the theatre. It cheers us up. It's a few hours of relief from everybody's got problems. Everybody's got issues. It's a fact. Yeah. How have you found... Is there any green shoots of like it's slowly coming back, or are we kidding ourselves? Hillary first.
It's definitely coming back. I'm holding my breath because I'm just thinking, come winter, what will happen? I think everybody feels the same. But it is very much coming back. The cruises are moving now, and they're not all the ships are back, but a lot of the fleets are out sailing again, and tentatively keeping it reasonably sensible, as in a lot of UK-based ships are leaving from Southampton or Dover, Tilbury or Liverpool, and they're sailing around the British Isles and then they come back, and then they offload.
So they're
and get
not
more.
they're not going abroad as such.
They
yet,
are. There are ships sailing. There are ships sailing abroad as I speak. Yes, they are. But a lot of them are just going, let's have a little go. Let's just see how it all pans out. So there are green shoots. A lot of theatre shows are open again. I mean, I went to see Chicago and Glasgow this week. Glasgow, they're the first time the King's Theatre has opened to any entertainment at all. And it was the UK tour of Chicago opened at the King's. Yeah. And yes, so there are, and also the resorts, the British resorts, the Butlins, Away Resorts, Haven, Park Dean Resorts, Warner's, Pontins, all Butlins, everybody is back and working, and entertainment is a huge part of that. And when you said we need it, as in going to see shows, we need it. Ray needs it.
We need it.
We need it desperately.
It's a mutual thing. The performers need it to make a living and put food on the table, and the audience wants it because that's what a big part of life is going out and being, and it's all gone. It's all gone.
It's like when you go to a show or a cabaret, you put your brain on pause like a remote control, because you don't think about next month's mortgage. You don't think about any hospital appointments for the time that you are in the venue. That's right. It is hugely, and that's really important for mental health. That, like you get that buzz out of going to the gym or exercising, dancing, running, that high you get. Yep. It is that sort of high, and you can live off that for a good few days after you've had that enjoyment. And but I do worry that it could come back to haunt us. However, we are all getting more and more.
Hang on, stop. In what are you saying? That you think it could kick it up?
No, the winter. It could.
Oh, the winter's going to be good. I'm not going to pretend the winters are going to be good. I don't think it will be.
Yes, I just think the more that people that are jabbed, the better. But I know of so many people that have had it and have still been ill. So,
No. Here we go. Quick question for Ray Gelato. Where are you going in Spain, Ray, when you play? Maybe I could come and see you. I'm near Granada, which is the motorway service station on the.
Come
on, had to be done. Had to be done. Sorry, go on.
I'm going to a place, first of all, that's, unless they get another gig, but the first gig seems to be a place called Lugo, near Santiago de Compostela, which is incredibly hard to get to. Lugo and Madrid, and the second show is on Madrid. Lugo is on November the 20th. Madrid is on the 21st. Lugo's on the 21st. Madrid's on the 22nd. But they're hoping maybe they'll put a couple of things each side. So that's where I'll be. Two completely Madrid, but Lugo is a really unknown kind of weird little place. Nice place.
Well, it was nice knowing you, and he was never seen again.
sounds like a spy, doesn't it? From James Bond, Lugo.
Lugo.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Lugo.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Gelato.
Mr.
Paul. Now then, let's. I just want to crank it a little bit more serious, if I may. You've both got. You've got an elderly mum who I've known forever, Hilary, the wonderful showbiz Val. I've known obviously as long as I've known you, which is like longer than. And Ray, of course, you've got your elderly parents. All last week, we had the initiative of talking about dementia and Alzheimer's. It was a pretty heavy week. The reaction has been extraordinary. The wonderful experts and the doctors and the organizations and the charities all came in, and it was great. I know I'm not putting her on in case anyone says, well, that's very rude, you're talking about entertainment and having a laugh, now you're talking about this. No, I do talk to guests beforehand. Fine. So you're going through it. You're going through the mill with your mum at the moment. Tell us what it's like. Well, no, go ahead. People need to know. They need to understand, what it entails.
So just in brief, my personal story is that I've got my mum has vascular dementia, which is a mixture of Alzheimer's she has mixed dementia, which is a mixture of vascular and Alzheimer's. And she's 91, and she had a terrible fall here at home where I am now. And I left the house for half an hour, and I came back, and I thought she'd been killed on the patio. There was so much. It was just horrific.
Oh.
So from that day, she never came home, and that was April 2nd. Hospital.
So just slow that down a little bit, because
yeah.
One of the things that happens when people get elderly is they fall over. And if we fall over, unless you're Leslie Demeser, you get up and you say, oh, sod it, and you cut yourself a bit and maybe rip your trousers. That's kind of it. But somebody elderly falls over, it seems to mean that so many issues start with that fall. It's
fall's the worst thing. It's the one thing I dreaded all the years of when I was away working on the ships, on tour, pantos, etc. I always feared more than anything her falling. Anyway, she's now in a care home, which is incredible, in Hazelmere, Oak Hall Care Home. It is phenomenal for my mum. It is the right one. I had one before. They were great, but it wasn't right for my mum. And in
what are we, without giving issues about this is from Stephen. I'm going to do 2 Stephen things, if that's all right. Are you all right, Ray, for time, by the way?
I'm
you
great.
Okay?
I'm
okay,
here
man.
for the duration. I'm interested.
All right, bless you. So Stephen Marsh says this, and Stephen Marsh, accountant to the stars, and a very nice man. Hillary, you're 100% correct in that when you go to a show or whatever it does take your mind off your troubles and woes for a good couple of hours, and in itself is therapeutic. When
100%.
people are very dismissive, I'm going to come back to your mum and the whole dementia thing in a second, but it's important because I've got you both here, which is a treat for me, and I know for all our listeners and viewers. When people are dismissive of the entertainment world, of which you are deep in it, when they just load of idiots prancing around and sparkle, they miss, in my opinion, the point of what entertainment is about. It is life enhancing. And it can be jazz with Ray. It can be you with your comedy and songs. It could be Shakespeare. It could be a very serious Harold Pinter play. It doesn't matter what it is. It's life enhancing.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me very cross. And certainly during the pandemic, when it was just dismissed as like a frippery, like we don't really need it.
It's the ballet dance.
You don't need it.
Back in the queue, wasn't it? The famous line that they came out with.
Yeah. Become a delivery driver. How many delivery drivers can you have? Everybody in that time was all these propaganda. Oh, this one's becoming a delivery driver. This opera singer's a delivery driver. I didn't know anybody that was working as. I'm not saying it was a bad, but there wasn't the vacancies. There'd be younger and fitter people than me queuing up to be a delivery driver.
I would have no problem, and I'm being absolutely serious. I would be really I actually volunteered. My local florist is a wonderful person, and I said, "You got a van outside. I said, if you're ever stuck, give me a call. I would be thrilled, because even I can pick up flowers. They're not going to give me a hernia, right? And I like driving around and delivering stuff. I would have no problem doing that at all. I can't do, in all seriousness, for a whole raft of reasons, a Tesco's thing, trying to lift all that thing.
No.
My back would go like that. But I have it's a perfectly honourable profession.
Yeah.
Perfectly honourable. It's not like, oh, you're a delivery driver. It's like people say, he sweeps the streets. Well, it's a fabulous thing to do it because it benefits everybody. There we are.
It was propaganda, though, that was being spun out by the media, that every entertainer seemed to be a delivery driver. I don't believe that spin for 1 minute.
This is from Ramsey. People underestimate the positive mental benefits precisely of music, theatre, film, and comedy. We all need creativity and art in our lives to feel fulfilled. We do. It's all covered by Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's exactly what Hillary was only saying.
The one thing that I wanted to get out of all of the terrible shutdown with all the theatres, etc., we never really got to hear where the 56 billion went. Not really. I think a lot of it was keeping the theatres was certainly not open. But I'd love to know how they split that up amongst.
See, here's an interesting thing. This is from Timmy. I said it, silly bitch. I love anything that's entertaining. Good luck with the rest of the show, girls. That's it. We love Timmy. But Timmy's husband, David, is the big fromage at Back to the Future, which is a huge musical, which was delayed. They finally reopened it last week. Huge press night, Wasn't invited. Thanks, Timmy. Won't forget that. Huge press night. I want to go anyway because I'm nervous. Fabulous reviews. Everybody absolutely loved it. The cast have got bloody COVID. They've had to shut it again, as far as I know. Timmy, if I'm wrong, let me know.
What?
Yeah. No, if I've got that wrong, if I've been misinformed, tell me.
Didn't know that.
This is my dread that I think we've gone through, my band and I, we've gone through 3 rounds now of cancellations. Gigs were booked in after the first lockdown because everyone tried to come back again. Boom, they were cancelled. And then they were cancelled once again. All the Ronnie Scott's last Christmas, they cancelled Ronnie's on me, not Ronnie's, but the system, because of the lockdown. That was cancelled within a day's notice. So we're talking, the band make a fair amount of money. It brings in some money for Christmas. Bang, that was out. And the psychological thing of that for all of us, and for me, because I'd set it all up, was pretty dreadful. Then I had the Blue Note in Milan, 5 days cancelled in February. So what I'm saying is, these gigs have been rebooked plus some more. If there's another round of cancellations, I often say to myself, maybe that'll be it. I don't because people don't understand the administration that goes behind setting one job up.
Oh, it's enormous.
It's
hours. Absolutely dreadful. Yeah,
contracts, negotiations, boom, boom,
I know.
boom. And
it's a very big deal. We have a mutual friend called Cassidy Jansen, who's stupidly talented and even nicer as a human being. And if you ever saw Beautiful, the Carole King bio musical, she played Carole King, and then she met Carole King. She nearly fainted. It was fantastic. She went into the Mousetrap, the famous Agatha Christie thing, which has now been running for 69 years in London. And they did a smart thing. They had 2 totally different casts. So if one went down, so they kept flipping and flopping the cast. But if one went down, they could put the other cast in. It's great, but it's not a musical. You haven't got an orchestra, and it's a small cast. How the hell are you going to do that? I'm presuming, I haven't seen it, that something like Back to the Future it's a huge show. And what people not in the industry don't understand, a minimum cost to put on a big musical is £5 million. That's basic. That is the bare minimum. You're not going to get away with it. I'm not talking about Jermyn Street, which is fabulous. I'm talking about a very big, with a full orchestra and the whole thing. The full thing there.
It is terrifying, really.
This isn't good. Here we go. This is it. Alexander Listenfeld went to the West End showcase at Trafalgar Square yesterday, and the Back to the Future cast could not attend. Whoa.
Yeah, see, this isn't even like winter. It's like, it's still out there. It's just terrifying, isn't it? One out, all out.
Paul, let's go back to Paul, and I want to do something else as well. There was another message from Paul. I've got many friends. Take 2, love, still running. I have so many friends in showbiz who have really suffered emotionally and financially during the pandemic. Damn right. As have these 2. Now they are starting to get back on stage. As one of them said, they've started to come back to life. They're getting their mojos back. And yes, many did other jobs during lockdown. And I want to, this is from Alex as well, who's a great broadcaster. If you haven't caught her show, please do. She really is terrific. Hillary, I'm so sorry, getting back to your mum. I worry all the time about my dad. Now, I've had the pleasure of meeting Jimmy Gluck, her dad, a sensation. This guy is a sensation. 90. And she worries about him falling. Coincidentally, I'm going on a cruise tomorrow. It's the only time I don't worry about him so much. He's going on a cruise, sending you a hug.
Oh,
and
I'm trying
to find, there was a message here. If I can find it from, here we go. This is to do, I'm sorry, it's going to make you go behind this thing, but bear with me. As Russ knows, I have, this is from Paul Claridge, an ileostomy, similar to a colostomy. I rely on my monthly prescription of medical supplies, especially the bags. The recent supply issues have caused delays in receiving my items. The protests last week delayed them even more. I tracked the delivery, which shows that the items were on a truck on the M25. This isn't only affecting me. Others told me they had seen delays and had missed important hospital appointments, including chemo and scans. It is unbloody acceptable. Sorry.
Unacceptable completely.
Absolutely, totally unacceptable. There we are. Let me get rid of this. I've got to try and hide this now. Keep going, gang. There we go. Hide. Lovely.
Oh gosh.
So back to your mum.
Absolutely hot.
Back to your mum.
Mm-hmm.
How are you coping with it? Hard, right?
It is hard. Yes, her being in a cat, because I walked off a ship. I came off a ship 2 years ago, October. It's literally 2 years ago, and I knew that I had to be a carer and I had to give up being a performer. So I did my show the night before, impressions, singing, stand-up comedy. Absolutely loved every minute of it. And I got off this ship and I knew that I couldn't work anymore. So I gave up 2 years ago to be mum's carer. She fell. She's in a home. How am I coping? It catches me, even talking now, because the guilt is there all the time.
What are you guilty about, Els?
Because I'm in my house, but it's my mum's house that I've always lived in since I was 3. Right. And I know it sounds like I'm the oldest woman ever to still be at home with her mum and dad.
Phil Dave's giving you a run for money.
Oh, but I work away a lot, and coming home just kind of suited me for years. And I bought properties. I own houses. It's not like I've never bought a house, but it's just that I want by choice to be here. And my mum has been here, and I'm sitting where my mum should be, and she can't be. And I get the whole thing. She's better where she is. But up here and in here, I battle with it constantly. I'm going to see her after this. Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to cry, but it's really hard.
Of course it's hard. It is hard. But you and I have talked about, I'm not a genius, just I went through it with my mum for 16 years. I know, could see what was going to happen.
I know you did. And you said you're in denial.
You and I talked about and I know you won't mind me saying this because we go back.
I don't care.
And initially, I think you got a bit cross with me. And I understand why, because we as kids don't want our parents. We don't want this for anybody. So when you're being told, I think, Hilary, you got to prepare yourself because this is kind of a one-way street. This doesn't reverse miraculously. It's not like getting a cold or a broken leg.
Yeah.
This only goes one way, and there's sod all upside to it.
Yeah.
And so we talked about these things, and I know that guilt, which is a fascinating thing, because it's not like we've given them Alzheimer's or dementia. I don't know if it's survivor's guilt. I don't know what it is.
Don't know what it is, but it's quite hard. And then on a daily basis, because I try and go every day, and I know I don't need to. But Stephen, I'm fine. Bless your heart. I've seen your comment. It's good to get it out in a way because I do hide a lot. Is I walk into the room and she looks immaculate. She looks like she's just got off a seaborne cruise, or other cruises are available. She's got her necklace, she's got her eyebrows penciled in, she's got her lipstick on, she's got her pearl earrings, her hair's looking okay, she's got lovely clothes.
She looks great in the I mean, she looks fantastic. My mother looked, I'll be honest, terrible.
But then you go in and then you go, hi, how are you doing? Oh, how are you? How was last night? Oh, yeah, it went well. Chat. What did you have for lunch? Oh, I don't remember. And I said, that's okay, don't worry. Nice weather or whatever we talk about, or I'll change the water and the flowers for you. And then I think, oh, this is normal. And I get this false sense of security every single time. And every single time I get swacked around the face by dementia when mum says, how's dad? Is he living in a flat now? Or my dad died 25 years ago. And it's like every time I go, but
yeah.
And then I go, hang on, and I edit quickly with everyone in the world telling me, go with it, agree with them. But that's my mum. And you go, hold on, I want to know what's in her head. What?
But you won't know.
And depending on how I'm feeling, I either do handle it okay or I don't.
Ray, your folks, apart from medical issues, they're pretty good.
Yeah, it's a difficult one after hearing Hilary, and I feel so sad for what's happened. But yes, they are all right. I mean, they're getting very frail. My father especially is very, very frail, and he fell yesterday in the kitchen. He's okay, but I know there's going to be something when I'm not there because he's stubborn. He's basically got osteoporosis and arthritis in the back, so he's bent right over.
Yeah, mum is too.
His balance has gone funny. He walks, he's fine. He pushes, he's fine when he's pushing a wheelchair. But I said to him, we had a very difficult conversation a couple of weeks ago because I said, listen, Dad, I've got to be frank with you. you're going to need a stick, mate. And he listened, and I said, there's no shame in having a stick, and then he got, I'll have one when I need one. And he's just so stubborn, and his laces get undone, and I'm worried. And my mum is in a wheelchair. My mum can walk, but she had this, the spine basically crumbled, and they rebuilt it. And so she can walk, but only about 20 yards, then she needs to sit down. So she can walk, and the lockdown, it's gotten worse because they weren't going out. So her legs are seized. But so she's kind of most of the time in a chair. But mentally, they seem okay. I mean, they don't hear the phone. Their hearing's gone. So
no, they just don't want to talk to you, Ray.
Yeah, it takes me half hour to get hold of them.
Yeah, they answer my calls.
And then you worry, don't you, because they've not picked up.
And what you were saying, I feel guilty now going away because I'm the main carer, and my wife Rebecca helps a hell of a lot. She does all the online shops for them and what have you. But I'm really scared now of going away, especially for a prolonged period, like 5 or 6 days, in case something happens. Because it would be a disaster on something apart from something happening to them. The whole gig,
isn't it a shame?
It's terrible.
Isn't it? I'm so sorry, Ray. Isn't it a shame? Because you do carry that guilt when you're working, because you just feel like I could do there, I could do more. But isn't it a shame that our elder folk have this dignity, which I'm sure we'll have as well, where you don't want to be seen to be needing anything. And the sad thing is, he said, I'll use one when I need one. Now is when he needs it to prevent the fall. Because once the fall is done,
or a shop, because I can see, and he's, I think the last couple of weeks he's fallen twice, Mum told me.
Oh, crumbs.
My mum fell twice this week. I know. It's just horrific. When the number comes up on my phone, it literally comes up, and I literally go, "Oh God!"
Now what?
Now
what?
Yeah,
I know.
And guess what? You won't believe this one. Sorry, just go quickly.
Go ahead.
I'm going to the hospital after for 3 o'clock. I'm going to meet them there at 2:45, and my dad will come. And I say, please, Dad, stay at home, watch the TV. But he wants to come. He wants to push the chair. He wants to be part of it. And much as I love him, it's another. I'm trying to take care of Mum in the hospital.
I see.
It's a big deal.
And you're worried about him.
I'm really worried about
Paul,
him as well.
One of the nicest men in the world, Paul Claridge, who has a tough life. We'll just leave it at that for the time being. Hillary, I've never met you. You're missing very little, Paul, to be honest with you. But I feel your pain. I was a carer for my mum before she passed in 2013. I want to send you and your mum a big virtual hug. The Men's and Women's Radio Station family is here for you. Yes, we always are.
Don't make me cry. Oh my God. Thank you.
By the way, Steve, I hope, Stephen, you don't think that I just sprung that on Hillary. We've been discussing this for years. And so Hillary agreed. I didn't say, come on, talk about entertainment. By the way, bang, how's your mum?
No, it's fine. And also, Russ, you have had my back the whole way, but I know that you knew, because we had chats with Penny Horner, who runs German Street, who's also a dear friend of mine. And I know you knew and said to her, I was in denial. And that is a very huge part of it. But mentally, I'm putting on armor now. I'm trying to arrive. I literally breathe in when I turn the corner and go,
yeah.
Hi, Mum.
You have to.
And I go, if it comes, then I'll expect it. And it's like, okay, and I just try and be calm and dump everything to do with work in the car till I leave and give her my daughter time, not my business daughter time. That's all you can do.
Look, this is coming in from Spain now. Michael Verby, you guys wouldn't know, but Michael's mum and dad, Malcolm Verby and Anita Verby, one of the most glamorous couple in London, were best friends with my mum and dad. And then through Men's Radio, bizarrely, I haven't seen him since he was 13 years old, and Michael Verby has rocked up, and we chit chat, and he goes, Russ, you know what my mother looked like in her heyday? Well, I have to say, Anita Verby, Michael's mum, was so gorgeous, so glamorous. I can't tell you. She looked, I'm not just saying it, Michael will know it's true, like a film star. When she went out, she looked like a film star, It was pitiful towards the end as she, oh God, this is killing me. Towards the end, she was convinced my sister Stacy was her mother. Christ.
I'm so sorry,
and
Michael.
Just to balance things up from the bitch himself, Timmy, on nights out with Marty, I actually feel like her carer. I said it. He calls me Marty Kane. Takes some ages to work that one out. Don't go,
No, Marty Kane is my hero. That's why I said,
no, you love Marty Kane. I know. This is from Linda Dave, whose son used to work here. I can't remember his name. It's gone out of my head. Hillary, I remember those days of guilt so well. I always thought I wasn't doing enough for my mum, but in retrospect, I know I couldn't have done any more. It's a horrible place to be in.
Thank you.
It's a curious thing.
And to everyone out there who is suffering the same way, love from us to you, because, you know, I have got an amazing wealth of friends around me who are great. And those that have been through it have been so helpful. I've had to come to terms with it, how I handle it. You know, people can give you so much information and so much guidance. The falling is still going to be one of my biggest things. And it is a big dementia thing. Ray, that is a huge part of, not that I'm saying your dad's got dementia, he hasn't, but the falling is such a huge part, and they sort of go hand in hand. And has your dad got, or have your mum and dad got that, the care line package where they wear a wristband? If they fall, they can press the button?
No, my mum sent all the, when my mum came out of hospital, she sent all the carers away. Okay,
this is what's so hard, because it's for your, I'm wondering if a thing to do, because they sound like they have the greatest dignity and I love them already, is that you say, do you know what, do me a little favour, because I'm away. Would you do me a favour? It's just a band you wear on your wrist, and all you do is do that when you're in trouble or fall. And it brilliant. It's the most amazing thing. And my mum did use it. She did use it. She fell at the top of the garden. It worked that far away from the box in the lounge.
Where do I get this? Do I go to their GP or what?
It's not an advertising thing, Russ. I can just say it out loud, right?
Do what you like. Go ahead. Go, of course.
At Careline 365. Cannot recommend them enough. It's about 170. Careline 365. It's about 170 quid a year, and you have either a pendant or you wear it on your wristband. And Mum wore it on the wrist, because you don't remember to put necklaces on.
Let me write it down while I'm with you, because it sounds like
Careline 365.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think for many people that's a very valuable thing.
And it's a little box, and it just sits plugged into your phone and all that. And the radius is far bigger than you think it could be. It still worked up the end of the garden. Mum's on the floor for about 40 minutes on the lawn before she remembered she had it. And it worked. So neighbours were alerted, and they went in to pick her up.
And interesting, this is from Veronica. She says we got it through Age UK, so you could try Age UK as well. That's what you can do.
It's just another thing for peace of mind, Ray, for you, because I totally get the going away and needing to work thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it just might be one thing in place that you can go, well, at least they've agreed. And if they agree to do it as a kind of would you do this as a favour to me, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not so medical. It's like for their boy, you know. So you just go, I just know that I'd be happy if I'm working away if I know you've got this on.
No, that sounds brilliant. I mean, we're lucky in a way, because we've got my sister, she lives in Yorkshire, but we've also, my nephew lives there. But, you know, he's a young guy. He's got his own life. He's out a lot of the time. So I need to be taking care of all this really for them.
One of the things that we beat ourselves up about is that, and I had to go through this, that we're not good enough to care for our parents. And that's not the case, because we cannot be physically 24/7. It's impossible.
Yeah, of course it is.
And the thing that I do want to say to people watching and listening is, it's not, I'm just going to say, it's not a dereliction of duty. You're not saying, oh, sod it, I can't be bothered, I can't. It's not. You've got to do what is best for those people. You know, you love them in most cases. You want to do what's best for them. And what is best for them is proper professional care. You know, you can play the saxophone. You can entertain 3,000 seaters on a cruise. I can do whatever the hell it is, right? But we're not doctors. We're not medical experts. We're not nurses.
Also, can't pick my mum up.
And that's another thing. I
can't physically pick her up.
It is very, very hard. And Chrissy, I'm trying to find Chrissy's comment, and I can't find it. It seems to have disappeared for some reason. But she said she understands about guilt. She was in Yosemite Park and found out her mum had died. And didn't know, couldn't get back in time. And this is what we do, guys. It's been really, I'm not going to do the Vinnie Jones, it's been emotional, but And this is from Stephen Marsh. I'm going to end with this comment because it couldn't be better. What a brilliant, poignant show it's been. A big thank you to Hillary and Ray. Be well. Everybody be well. Take care. Our special guest, Hillary O'Neill. Hillary, you were wonderful. Thank you. Ray, you're always great. Thank you very much. You know you have an open invitation anytime. You have added so much to the conversation and to dealing with huge issues. Bless you. I'll be back on Wednesday, 12 noon. Until then, try and stay safe. Bye-bye, everybody.